First responders in the line of duty face incredible risk, stress, and the challenge of making split-second decisions with potentially life-changing consequences. Accidents and mishaps can lead a person to dismay, but there's always something that can ignite an undying hope.
Dealing with loss is never easy, whether that be a loss of ability or the loss of life while working against the odds. But it's important to remember that we all possess the power to rise again when facing defeat.
Really, it's about never giving up. And no one understands that better than Nicole Thornes. She is an author and former police officer. Nicole, thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
We're going to talk about a book that you wrote, but first I want to ask you about your experience as a police officer.
Yes. I started with Ocean City, and then I ended here in Salisbury, where I had to medically retire. I unfortunately broke my neck and had to have surgery and all sorts of other fun stuff.
Oh, wow.
But, it ended much sooner than I was hoping for it to, but
So what inspired you to write the book?
My son was in the police academy. It was coming up on the 10-year anniversary of my injury, and I was still struggling with the fact that I didn't have a last call, which in the police world is kind of our finalization of our saying goodbye.
Yeah.
There had been a couple line of duty deaths in the area, unfortunately. I started it as a journaling for me, and then while I'm in the midst of it, I'm realizing this is my story. And then I get to the line of duty death page, and I didn't want to use anyone that had already passed because I didn't want to make it about any one person here to take away from anyone else.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I used my ID number because a part of me died that day. So this was me being able to say my final goodbye to my police career.
So what's the name of the book?
It's called Daddy's Home. It's not about a mom, it's about a dad, but Daddy's Home because Daddy ultimately ends up home in heaven.
So why do you think it's important for children to understand this loss?
For so many reasons. Part of the book explains the different things like the police officers coming to the door and telling you that Daddy's not coming home, or anyone in their family that it was. It kind of guides them through the different steps of what they are to expect, the going to the funeral home, all of the police presence, where you're probably used to being around officers all the time, but they're in a totally different environment this way. These are officers that usually come to you and love on you and are laughing with you and playing and joking, and they're not like that. They're much more somber. They're in different uniforms even than you're used to. They're in their Class A's, they're very dressed up. You'll see people cry that you never thought would cry. And then it takes you to the last call, which a lot of people don't even realize. And I've spoken to people that have made comments on how they didn't realize that was happening. And it's one of those things where as a police officer, you hear them calling that ID number and you just want to hear the person answer. And it's tough, and it kind of prepares you for that. While it's written for children, I feel at least that it's written for anyone to understand basically what to expect.
Sure.
So you've worked in a funeral home as well.
I did, yes.
How did that help?
Oh, that helped immensely with realizing the different things that go on with people coming to pick different things out. Just the picking the casket versus picking an urn, what you're going to do there, and kind of your feelings with that, wanting to honor your loved one.
Sure. So tell us about the process of writing this book. It couldn't have been easy.
It wasn't, but when I finally finished it, I had such a relief. It was very cathartic for me. I struggled immensely with no longer being a police officer, and being able to write this and kind of say, I did it, but I'm moving on, and I'm able to do other things, and I'm able to still give back to my community, and I'm here for a reason, and let's see what that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is that? What do you think about the future? What are you going to do now? Are you going to write? Keep writing?
I do plan to keep writing. I just recently became and opened my own business. I became a death doula, a certified death doula, and I just opened my own business, Positive Passing. because everyone should have a positive passing. At the end, especially, you realize how much either you have done in your life or how much you haven't done, and you want to be able to get it out there to people. And I want to be there for people.
Well, thank you so much for doing that.
Yes.
It's a very important part of life. Nicole Thornes, thank you.
Thank
for
you
being with us.
Thank you.